Hi, I'm author Richard M. Hooke, and I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the book I wrote with Rachel White called Takedown, and it's available on Amazon Books. We completed it in 2018, so I just wanted to go over a few things that are in this incredible book that I helped Rachel write. It's available in hard copy or electronic copy for download on Amazon. It's got cutting edge JFK assassination research in this book. Okay, I really thought I was done with my research, having completed 7 books related to the assassination, but then I met this stunning new talent on the internet, Rachel White of the United Kingdom, who is a quick study and offers a common sense, no nonsense, empathetic, and more holistic approach to the assassination. I sent Rachel a box of my books, and she quickly got up to speed to the point I'd left off as of 2017. I explained to Rachel my proof that I completed in 2013 that Lee Oswald was in the first floor doorway of the Texas School Book Depository when JFK was getting shot, and thus could not have done any shooting. And also that I had attended a JFK Lancer conference in 2015 featuring Buell Wesley Frazier as the speaker. And when I raised my hand and told Frazier TSBD Dorman in the Altkin 6 photo was Oswald, not Lovelady as he was claiming, Frazier said I was wrong and they would allow no debate and would not answer any of my questions. Frazier was Lee Oswald's buddy, and he surely knows TSBD Dorman in his distinctive brown long-sleeve overshirt jacket and physical features is Lee Harvey Oswald. The implications from the fact Frazier has not told us the truth for over 56 years in order to frame Oswald are stunning. I mentioned to Rachel that more research needed to be done into Jack Ruby, Buell Wesley Frazier, Ruth and Michael Payne, Linnie Mae Randall, and Marina Oswald. Sure enough, after about a month, Rachel sent me a rough draft of the first chapter, The Night Before the Nightmare on Elm Street. And I was amazed that Rachel takes us right inside the Payne household in Irving, Texas during the fall of 1963 and presents an entirely new and perceptive take on the JFK assassination. I edited and enhanced Rachel's paper, and we've exposed that Lee Oswald was out of the Payne house by 9 p.m. on November 21 and did not spend the final night at the Paynes like we've been told. Oswald was out driving around in the Nash Rambler station wagon procured for him by Ruth Payne through CIA asset Clay Shaw of New Orleans. Lee Oswald met with Jack Ruby and visited with Mac Wallace, Loy Factor, and Ruth Ann Martinez at the top-secret DIA Holland Avenue safe house late the final night and early the next morning of November 22, 1963. Oswald was definitely out of the Payne's house by 9 p.m., and Rachel has uncovered the real truth of why the light was left on in Mrs. Payne's garage. Oswald never returned, and the whole story made up by conspirator Ruth Hyde Payne that Oswald left her house the following morning and walked through the Irving neighborhood carrying a disassembled 6.5 millimeter Mannlicher Carcano rifle wrapped in a brown paper package to hook a ride to work with Buell Wesley Frazier at the Randall house that final morning is an entirely fabricated lie by the conspirators, as Ruth Payne, Buell Frazier, Linnie Mae Randall, and the grandmother all lied for the deep state in order to frame Lee Oswald for the assassination of President Kennedy. Rachel and I have exposed that Lee Oswald definitely had a driver's license and slipped out under Ruth Payne's garage door at approximately 8:45 p.m. As Oswald left the light on, navigating through Ruth Payne's junk, he crawled out under the large garage door and drove 13 miles to Jack Ruby's apartment in Oak Cliff, where Oswald was spotted knocking on the door at 9 p.m. Oswald was spotted next in Dallas at the Lucas B&B Cafe at 2:15 to 2:45 a.m., meeting with Jack Ruby, which coincidentally is right around the corner from the DIA Holland Avenue safe house. And then Oswald was spotted by 3 witnesses at the Top 10 record store in Oak Cliff at 7:30 a.m. And although they did not speak, J.D. Tippett was also in the store for part of that time. And finally, Oswald was spotted at the Jiffy store in Dallas at 9:30 a.m., where he had to have driven, and he showed his driver's license to store owner Fred Moore. During all these sightings, Oswald was by himself and Buell Wesley Frazier was nowhere to be seen. Rachel and I have exposed that Oswald had been picked up hitchhiking that previous Wednesday on 11/20 by refrigerator salesman Ralph Yates. And Oswald was carrying what appeared to be a fully assembled rifle wrapped in a brown paper package that Oswald said was curtain rods. Yates said Oswald asked if he thought it was possible to shoot the president from a tall building, and he said that he was good friends with Jack Ruby. Oswald said that. Then Yates dropped Oswald off at the TSBD for work, and Oswald carried the package in the front door. Ralph Yates failed to report the story prior to the assassination, so Ruth Payne, Buell Frazier, and Linnie Mae Randall reconstructed the curtain rod story as if it had occurred on Friday morning, so the conspirators would have an explanation of how their purported patsy, who they claimed could not drive a car, had gotten a rifle into the TSBD to shoot the president. But it doesn't work because Lee Oswald had already acted out the curtain rod story as part of a CIA job as the patsy for the conspirators that previous Wednesday. The curtain rod story was already used up. The real truth is Oswald, having left Ruth Payne's by 8:45 p.m. on November 21, never came back and certainly never disassembled any rifle to wrap all those loose rifle pieces in a brown cardboard sleeve, as the Dallas police have claimed was found in the TSBD, where those loose rifle pieces would have all fallen down to the end of that box, and Oswald certainly did not lug that clanging box of rifle junk through Mrs. Payne's neighborhood to hook a ride with Frazier at Linnie Mae Randall's house. The contention that Oswald reassembled a box of rifle junk inside the dark and dusty TSBD just a few hours before the assassination, where there was no privacy or private workbench available with the tools to assemble and calibrate that rifle just before the shooting, and nobody ever reported having seen Oswald doing that, well, it's just preposterous. It didn't happen. Okay, Frazier was spotted driving in with nobody else in his car. And Oswald was spotted walking into the TSBD without Buell Wesley Frazier, carrying nothing but his brown bag lunch that final morning when he got to work. So there never was any disassembled rifle in any package, as Buell Frazier and Ruth Payne have said Oswald was carrying. And Oswald was never in Buell Wesley Frazier's car that final morning. Oswald definitely drove in by himself in his own transportation to drive to the Jiffy and had his own transportation to drive to the Jiffy store on Industrial Boulevard at 9:30 a.m. And then Mrs. Payne's Nash Rambler wagon was used as a getaway vehicle after the assassination. As Frank Sturgis, Mac Wallace, and Lee Oswald were all spotted getting picked up by the Nash Rambler station wagon. Rachel and I have included all of these details and more in our new book, Takedown. Rachel examines in detail how Ruth and Michael Payne framed Lee Oswald with notes written in Russian and concocted evidence from Oswald's confiscated possessions. Takedown also looks at how associated players, many identified in the Garrison investigation, Clay Shaw, David Ferry, Roscoe White, John Roselli, Carlos Marcello, Richard Nixon, Lyndon Johnson, and many less familiar, have remained in the shadows and are now brought to light. Rachel examines CIA Mafia Mossad asset Jack Ruby and exposes him to have had a much deeper level of complicity than most researchers of the past have dared to imagine. Rachel proves with circumstantial and photo evidence Jack Ruby was the main organizer on the ground in Dallas, orchestrating all the key, timely, disgusting, and unseemly action necessary for the deep state to perpetrate their crime of the 20th century. Rachel explains how Jack Ruby was involved with a rich white Russian community in Texas and its links to the Defense Industrial Security Command, DISC, NASA Space Agency, Permandex money laundering, and the World Trade Center corporations. Over the next 6 months, Rachel completed and sent me roughly one paper per month, which I edited and enhanced for her, and they became the first 6 chapters of Takedown. I am very proud to present Rachel White's many great new insights. And brilliant work. And just when I was thinking all the male researchers had taken the JFK assassination research as far as possible, Rachel White, the music teacher from England, entered the picture and opened up a whole new world of truth and insight into the Illuminati, CIA, Zionist deep state murder of JFK and takeover of the United States of America. The associated murder of J.D. Tippit is also explained with an explosive conclusion that when grasped by ordinary people who have never before really considered why Tippit was actually killed, is truly blood-curdling. And finally, toward the end of our writing of Takedown, Rachel and I began to have our first realizations of the stunning and undeniable truth that Jackie Kennedy was a CIA participant in the assassination. And Jackie and Secret Service driver William Greer were the final insurance shooters inside the presidential limousine, who both shot JFK in the head. Our initial articles concerning these final and most shocking truths are included in Takedown. I really hope you enjoy Takedown. It's definitely one of the best, if not the best, JFK assassination book I've been fortunate to have been involved in creating. Takedown. This is JFK assassination researcher Richard Hooke signing out.